Hey everyone. All right, so let's go ahead and go over your practice questions. So the first one is the same thing as like we did in our notes. So it says check the boxes that correctly describes each organism's trophic level and description. So the first one is grass. Your grass would be your producer. Then comes your mouse. Because the mouse eats the grass, it would be considered your primary consumer. It would also be considered a herbivore and a consumer because in this food chain, it's only eating plants. Your snake, which eats the mouse, would be your secondary consumer, and it's also a consumer because it doesn't make its own food. And then your hawk, which eats the snake, would be the tertiary consumer because it eats our snake, which is a secondary consumer. And it's also a consumer because it obviously doesn't make its own food. Moving on to the Arctic food chain. So phytoplankton would be our producer. The herring, which eats the phytoplankton, would be our primary consumer, herbivore and a consumer. The harp seal, which eats the herring, is our second consumer, and then also just a normal consumer. The polar bear is our tertiary consumer, and then also a normal consumer. What does the arrow in the food chain mean? Choose all that apply. The arrow means that it gets eaten by, and then it also shows the flow of energy. If you got all of these correct, give a pat on your back. If you didn't, go back and change your answers so that you do.